Today we go over the Star Wars franchise when it comes to the original sequel trilogy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, starting off with The Force Awakens was the very beginning of the return of Star Wars back in 2015, in which J.J. Abrams started the entire sequel trilogy, with The Last Jedi then by Rian Johnson, which a lot of people disagreed about that movie, of a lot of the decisions that were implemented in the film by Ryan and what Kathleen Kennedy had approved, etc. And a lot of people just wanted more Luke Skywalker and Luke to have more action in that film. However, today I wanted to go over the original concept of the sequel trilogy, starting off with The Force Awakens, that would eventually lead into The Last Jedi and more. Now, in the past, we have gone over the whole entire concept by George Lucas, in which originally for episode 9, he was going to have Luke Skywalker die at the end of that movie, and he would actually train Leia to become a Jedi. Now that to me would have been pretty damn amazing. However, you guys may or may not remember Michael Arndt. He actually worked on The Force Awakens, and not too long ago, you know, we've been hearing a lot about what's been going on with Disney and Lucasfilm behind the scenes after the Solo: A Star Wars Story box office results and all the standalone films being put on hold, and this also led to a lot of conversations on exactly how the original trilogy, or should I say how the original sequel trilogy could have been on screen. Now, Michael Arndt had this to say: "Early on, I tried to write versions of the story where Rey is at home. Her home is destroyed, and then she goes on the road and meets Luke. And then she goes and kicks the bad guy's ass," Arndt said via EW. "It just never worked out, and I struggled with this. This was back in 2012. Apparently the issue was Luke's presence was always upstaging everyone in the script. It just felt like every time Luke came in and entered the movie, he just took it over." Arndt continued, "Suddenly you didn't care about your main character anymore because, oh, Luke Skywalker's here, I want to see what he's going to do." EW also says there were other big plot ideas dropped: a search for Darth Vader's remains, or a crest to the underwater wreckage of the second Death Star to recover a key piece of history about sacred Jedi sites in the galaxy. These, of course, alright, are totally different movies, and one could argue fairly different from the remake and remixedness of The Force Awakens. And apparently R2-D2 and C-3PO were far more linked in the movie as well. I had originally written R2 and C-3PO showing up together, and Larry Kasdan very intelligently said, "You want to keep them separate from each other." And of course I'm like, no, Larry, you don't want to get that at all," Arndt joked. So that was the original concept, or parts of the original concept of the original trilogy. Now, the whole entire thing of Luke Skywalker every time he came on screen and how he upstaged all the new characters, I personally wouldn't mind that. I feel like that Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, all those main characters are Star Wars. If you look at Luke, he is Star Wars. Same goes as Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. So I feel like that was one big mistake in The Force Awakens. I feel like that if they were to implement Luke in The Force Awakens to have a more significant role in that movie, they could have carried on more action for Luke to be told in The Last Jedi, where he would go up against Snoke, or Kylo Ren and his knights, etc. They could have done so much more in The Last Jedi had Luke Skywalker had a lot of screen time in The Force Awakens. So, you know, we do know that Mark Hamill is back as Luke in Episode 9. We're not quite sure exactly what his role is going to be, whether that's a Force ghost, or flashback scenes, or him coming back to life, if J.J. Abrams actually goes through with doing that. But as far as the original sequel trilogy goes, alright, when Arndt wrote this back in 2012, and he spoke about this, I just have to say that I think that Luke Skywalker having more screen time with Rey would have been pretty amazing. Now, mind you, I really do enjoy the very ending of The Force Awakens. In fact, I think it's a legendary ending. There's something so impactful about it emotionally and visually when you're just watching this sequence, where Rey finds the Jedi Master facing the Ocean of Ahch-To as he slowly turns around and pulls back his hood and looks at her stunned of what she's holding, the lightsaber that once belonged to his father, Anakin Skywalker. So that's the thing about the ending. You can see the expressions on Luke's face. You can see the memories that are coming back in his mind. And you could also see where things were going to go. Then in The Last Jedi, I just did not agree with how Rian Johnson treated how The Force Awakens ended, where he just chucks the lightsaber over the cliff and he walks past Rey, and that was that. I was expecting so much more, like maybe him taking the saber, examining it, exchanging a few words to Rey, and handing it back to her, then walking away. I think that would have been a whole lot better, and also him being more optimistic in the story. But let me know what you guys think about the original sequel trilogy plans, such as, them searching the Death Star 2 underneath the water and searching for a specific piece that would unveil sacred Jedi knowledge. That to me sounds so cool, and I think it would have worked for the sequel trilogy as well. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.